talk about how to calculate compound interest. Now, this lesson is going to span a series of 2 days. Today, we're going to do the compound interest by using the simple interest formula. In our next upcoming lesson, we'll learn how to calculate the compound interest using a compound interest formula. Okay, so what is compound interest? So compound interest is interest that's earned not only on the original principal, like simple interest is, but it's also earned on the interest during previous interest periods. So basically, it's earning interest on the principal and it's earning interest on the interest that you've earned. Okay, so our formulas today to calculate, we're still going to calculate interest using that simple interest formula, which is I equals the principal times the rate times the time. But we're going to have to do this a series of steps for how many times the interest is actually compounded. So if you have it over 2 quarters, you'll do it twice if it's compounded quarterly. If it's compounded quarterly and you have it in there for a year, then we'll have to do that formula 4 times. So then we find our amount, which is our principal plus our interest, and then we'll start over. And then to calculate the total compound interest, we'll take our final amount and we'll subtract our original principal, and that will show us how much interest we earned in the periods that were given. So let's look at this example. It says James deposited $2,500 into a savings account that earns 4% interest compounded quarterly. Now, just like we did in the past, I'm going to take that 4%, 4 out of 100, and turn that into a decimal so that we're ready to use that in our formula. How much did he have in his account at the end of the year? So if it's compounded quarterly, that means that it's going every 3 months. So a quarter of a year would be 3 months. So 3 months in terms of a year would be 1/4 of a year. So that's going to be our time. If we're compounding it quarterly and we want to see how much at the end of the year, we're going to have to repeat these steps 4 times. So let's see what he earned after the first quarter. So after the first quarter, we started with $2,500. He earned 4% interest, and he earned it for a quarter of the year, or 3 out of 12, or 1/4. When we do that calculation, the interest earned was $25. That means when we take 25 and add it back to that 2,500, that he's going to have $2,525 at the end of quarter 1. So now we need to repeat that. In the second quarter, we're going to start with our new principal, which includes the original principal plus the interest earned. We're going to multiply by our rate. Now we're going to go through the second quarter. So we're going to multiply that out. That's going to get us $25.25, leaving us with a final amount at the end of quarter 2 of $2,550.25. So now we'll repeat that again. So in our third quarter, we start now with $2,550.25. We're going to multiply our interest rate, and we're going to do that for another quarter. That's going to give us interest of $25.50, bringing our amount at the end of quarter 3 to be $2,575.75. So we have to repeat this one last time to calculate through our fourth quarter. That'll take us right to the end of the year. And we're going to start with $2,575.75 times our 4% rate times our final quarter to give us interest of $25.76. That's going to leave us in our account at the end of quarter 4 with $2,601.51. So that's our amount we'll have in our account at the end of the year. Now, if we need to calculate the interest, we can do that one of two ways. We can either add all of the interest earned together, or we can take our new amount and subtract from it our original principal. Either way, we see what our amount was. This is our final amount at the end of the year, and this is the amount of interest we earned. Okay, so it's just a series of using that simple interest formula and repeating that process. So now go ahead and pause your video and go to your textbook on page 226 and try concept checks 1 and 2. It'll go through a series of problems just like you just did. Now that you're back, you can check your work for concept checks 1 and 2. You can see that we turned it into 8%, so 0.08, and it was also quarterly, so we used 1/4 of a year for 1 year. Now you won't always go through by 1 year. Sometimes it'll be 2 months or 3 months, and we have to adjust accordingly. We take and added each one of our new interest values to our amount, and we finish up having a final amount of $2,164.87, calculating our total interest to be $164.87. So tomorrow we're going to expand on this idea and look at using the compound interest formula.